Welcome to Boy Time Podcast. We're gonna get litty time, yeah. Oh, it's your Boy Time Podcast. Coming in with the slam dunk of a theme song.
Hi ho ho, it's me, Carrie Lake, back at it again with a new episode of the Boy Time Podcast. And as always, I'm joined by Just Babby. It's another slow week in terms of news, but we're here. In terms of big things, God of War came out. I will be talking about that with no spoilers, obviously. The Game Award nominations came out this week, today, as of us recording it. And we finished Atlanta. Atlanta's over, so we're going to be talking about that too. I think those are all the big things. Unless there's another big thing that I'm missing. Did Drake drop again?
No, unfortunately.
Okay.
Not.
That's too bad. Well, I mean, we can get started with gaming then. I guess the only little bit of gaming news is that The Witcher 3 is getting its free next-gen update. That'll be on December 14th, about a month away, if you're into that kind of thing. I'm not, but, you know, to each her own, I suppose.
For those who celebrate.
For those who celebrate, you know, you can play the same game again. That takes 50 hours to beat. But who am I to say? I've played Breath of the Wild 4 times and 100%ed it twice. So I guess I can't say anything. Should I talk about God of War Ragnarok first, or should we go through Game Award thingies?
End with discussions.
End with discussions? Okay.
Or if you want to classify that as a discussion, I suppose.
It's a little bit.
A one-sided discussion, since I have not played the game,
You
frankly.
have not. But
Frankly, I haven't beat the first one.
not yet. I don't. It's a little bit tricky because God of War got nominated a lot, so I might be talking about it when we talk about the nominations for the Game Awards. But we'll go over the nominations. In terms of things that got nominated, the things that got the most is God of War got 10. Elden Ring got 7, Horizon 2 got 7, Stray got 6, and then Plague Tale Requiem got 5. So those are the 5 most nominated things. We can go through each of the big ones, I guess. I'm not going to talk about the esports one or the esports categories because I don't know. I don't really follow esports, and I don't think you really do. You like watching CSGO and Valorant.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't care about League or well, whatever kids are playing nowadays. Overwatch 2. StarCraft.
I don't know
still
if
playing it.
Overwatch
Dota?
started the Overwatch League yet. I guess Dota's probably still happening.
I don't know. We'll start with most anticipated game. Most anticipated, you got Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Starfield, and Legend of Zelda 2. Breath of the Wild 2. Tears of the Kingdom. I still don't know if it's Tears or Tears. Probably Tears? Probably.
I thought it was Tears.
It might be Tears. I mean, that would be the reason that they couldn't play it in the UK.
Exactly.
But for me, it's Zelda. Even though Starfield is showing a lot of promise, but I don't trust Bethesda right now. So, taking some points away. And I would like to play Resident Evil 4, because I've heard that's the one to play. So, I would like to. But that's all I have to say about the most anticipated games. We have Best Adaptation in its first Game Awards thing, and this is a new category talking about video games being adapted into TV or movies. I think that's what all these are. Yeah. So you got Arcane, obviously. You got Cyberpunk Edge Runners, the Cuphead Show, Sonic 2, and Uncharted.
Crazy, like 3 of those are pretty good.
3 of those are pretty good. I've heard the Cuphead Show is good. I haven't seen it.
And Cyberpunk show apparently is really good.
Yeah.
I just haven't watched it yet.
No. I don't know much about Arcane, but that one also
People also like that a lot.
like that one a lot too. So this is kind of a contentious category. If I had to guess, it would probably be Sonic 2. Probably not, but
Yeah. It's gonna be fun. Sonic 2.
yeah. For debut indie games, this is kind of a stacked category. Oh wait, no, it's the other indie one that's kind of stacked. But in this one, we do have Neon White, which is that gun game that Donkey did a dunk view for like a couple months ago. Norco, Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors. I'm surprised Vampire Survivors got a nomination because I think that one kind of was not a huge release, but it looked interesting. I have it on my Steam wish list. Tunic is great. It's another 2D Zelda wannabe. I forgot. There was one that was a 2D Zelda wannabe last year that I really liked. Was it Death's Door? Death's Door was good.
Sounds familiar.
Death's Door is a good game. But that one has a little bit more of a spin to it. Tunic really is just, you want to play a 2D Zelda where you play as a fox? There's Tunic for you. And I haven't played Stray, but you've played Stray.
Yes.
So do you think that
it's
is
probably not the best game there?
Okay. Well,
It's
I don't.
a fun game. I don't think it's like, award winning.
Okay.
It's just you play as a cat, and that's the main draw of it, and it makes it fun.
Well, it is fun to play
Yeah.
as a cat. I'll probably play it eventually, but
It's a very chill game if you just need to like kill an afternoon. It's only like a 4 or 5 hour game.
oh, well, that is nice. Yeah, I'll probably play it eventually when I have cash. Trying all these like best fighting. I don't think we're gonna really care about. Best role playing. Yeah, Elden Ring's gonna win this. It's Elden Ring, Pokemon Arceus, Triangle Strategy, Xenoblade 3, or Live a Life. Spoiler alert, Xenoblade 3 was nominated for Game of the Year. That's a little disappointing, but hopefully it doesn't win. I'll be very sad. Best Action Adventure, this is just going to be all of the most nominated. It's Plague Tale, God of War, Horizon 2, Stray, and Tunic. I mean, the only one I've like really, really liked is God of War. So I don't know, I guess. We'll see. Best Action, Bayonetta 3, Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. If you like those, I forgot what they call them, where it's like what is it? Dragon Warrior, those classic arcade games where it's like a side-scrolling.
Oh yeah.
Where you can move like a little bit up and down, but then it's more like an auto scroll thingy.
Yeah.
Like the Simpsons arcade game.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's what the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game is. Sifu looked interesting. I never tried that one, but I don't know. Do you think Call of Duty has a shot?
God no. Well,
Okay.
it shouldn't have a shot. I don't know how they do with the awards. I feel like they never get awards,
No, I don't know.
which is good. I don't think they deserve awards.
Yeah.
I play the game and it's very fun, but like I know that game is not comparable to the other games on that list, or at least most of them.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how Jeff Keighley's feeling, if he's feeling a little feisty. Best VR game. We got After the Fall, which is that frozen zombie one. Bone Lab.
Snowball free fall.
Yeah, it's Snowball Free Fall
Snowball
Fight. Bone Lab, which I think is the game where it's like the thing on Woohoo Island and he's Spider-Manning around those videos on the internet. I think that's Bone Lab.
I think that's Bone Lab, because Bone Works is like the super realistic one.
Yes, Bone Works.
I don't know why
and
there's
Bone
2
Lab.
with bone in them.
I don't know. All VR games should be like, it's like Triple H, where it's like horseshoes, hot dogs, and hand grenades. That's just a gun simulator too, but they gave it an interesting name. You got Moss Book 2, Red Matter 2, and Mungus VR, baby.
Let's go.
Game of the year, Mungus VR. It's gotta be. Haven't played it yet, but it looks funny. Accessibility. We got As
Last of Us
Dusk
2
Falls.
wins again.
Actually, Last of Us 1 is nominated.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's gonna win.
you remember? They just copied the same accessibility from
It's gonna
number
win.
2, so it's probably gonna win. God of War is also in here. I didn't really look at the accessibility things, so I don't really know how that is. The Quarry. Don't know the accessibility things in that. And then Return to Monkey Island. I don't know. I don't know. But I like that's a category because that is it's good. Get more people in the medium, why don't you? Best indie game. Yeah, this one's the stacked one. It's Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, Tunic. I think for me, I gotta do Cult of the Lamb. That's a great game. Combines the stressful nature of running a cult and also a fun roguelike. What more could you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus you get to name your animals and you can name them really funny things like Dave and Robert, which is what I did. And then it made me sad whenever they died because I was like, oh no, not
An
Clint.
emotional attachment to them.
Yeah, I shouldn't have named him
Not
anything.
John.
Not John. I just started and I ended up just doing like random foreign names. So like it was like Mahmoud. I did Mahmoud.
Mahmoud.
Put him in there. I think I did I don't remember what Indian name I did. It's like it was Raj something. Rajat or something. I don't know.
Okay.
This was like 2 weeks ago. I don't remember every single name I did, but it was pretty funny and it's a good game. So try it out. Plus it's a Devolver game, which always gets points in my book. Best ongoing, we got Apex, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. I feel like this is the same list as last year.
Probably
Whatever.
is.
I think that Final Fantasy 14 is honestly pretty good right now, but I do like that they added Spider-Gwen in Fortnite.
I love Fortnite.
I do too. Best performance. We got Horizon 2, Ashley Birch, who I'm assuming is Aloy. They didn't put their roles on this website, which is a little unfortunate. Plague Tale 2, Charlotte McBurney, who I assume plays the teenage girl. Christopher Judge from God of War, who's Kratos. Sonny Solyik from God of War 2, who's Atreus. And Immortality, Man Engage, I don't know. I haven't played that game. But I assume that everyone here did just a great job, even though I've only played one of the games. But luckily I know two of them. And they both have done a pretty good job from what I've played so far. Best audio design, it's going to be Gran Turismo, doesn't even matter. Score, we got Plague Tale 2, Elden Ring, God of War, Metal Hellsinger, and Xenoblade 3, baby. It's getting all the nominations this year. I don't remember a score in Elden Ring or really God of War, but I'm going to probably go with God of War. That's how people vote in the Academy anyways. Let's see. We're getting into the meat here. Big meaty. Let's just go to Game of the Year. Game of the Year. You got Plague Tale 2, which is how they say it in French, which is funny because it takes place in France. Elden Ring, God of War 2, Horizon 2, Stray, Xenoblade 3. Which one do you think is Game of the Year?
Xenoblade 2.
That one's not even nominated. I wish it was. That one is way superior to Xenoblade 3 in my opinion.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean,
don't
they're all
know.
the same, but
I think Elden Ring's gonna win, but
yeah, probably. I think of all of these,
I guess
that
it's
one's had
probably
the
the best in
most,
there. yeah,
the most cultural staying power.
yeah.
So, great job, Elden Ring. When is this? When it 24 days till the show. This website is very slow.
Come on, Jeff.
December 8th. So, I don't know when that is. Is that a Sunday? It's a Thursday. It's perfect. I don't do anything on Thursdays anyway. I'll watch it, and then I'll finally be able to report on the GTA 6 trailer that is definitely going to be at the Game Awards.
For real this time.
Everyone's been talking about it. That means it has to be true.
Yeah.
So many
This has never
Rockstar
happened
leaks have
before.
happened, and they all say that there's going to be a trailer before the year is out, and the only thing that points to is the Game Awards. That means that it has to be coming out at the Game Awards, right?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, great. So tune in on the podcast on December 14th, where we are going to be talking about the GTA 6 trailer for sure this time.
In depth.
In depth, we're going to go frame by frame,
frame.
as we often do.
Yes.
Okay, let me talk about God of War Ragnarok. I got some tea to spill, because I hate it. I'm just kidding. If God of War 1 is Breaking Bad, then God of War Ragnarok is Better Call Saul, but in a weird way. Better Call Saul was very hard to get into. The first season is kind of rough. But then after that, once it gets going, you're on the ride, and it is consistently really good. That is exactly how I feel about God of War 2. For like the first 3 to 4 hours, I was like, oh no, this sucks. The combat at the beginning of the game is copy paste the exact same as the first game, which is to say it's pretty good, but I've played the first game enough where it's like, okay, I kind of wanted something new here. You start with the axe and the BOC. If you know, you know. This is going to be really hard to skate around things, considering I don't want to spoil the first one for you. So you do have that little added thing. But personally, I never really liked the BOCs. I was always an axe main. And I loved the executioners thing, where you hold R2 and then you like slam the axe into them and you cut them in half. It's like, ooh, that's fun.
True.
That's satisfying. That's the best move in the game. That's the only thing that they replaced. I was so upset. Every single move is the same, except that one is now, it's a sideways kind of slash. You dig it into the enemy and then you do like a little 360 and then you huck him into the air and then he explodes in a big frost explosion, which is not nearly as satisfying as the Executioner's Slam from the first game, but I guess it is a little more effective at crowd control. But I don't know. I always liked it. I'd still rather take the Executioner's Slam. That one's it's just so much fun. Also, the whenever you like stun enemies enough, then you can press R3 and then do like a big finishing move. I think I've counted and there's only 4 that are for the axe, except for like big mini bosses or bosses. When you're fighting just grunts, the axe has only 4 executioner things, which you cycle through those like almost immediately, which is a little unfortunate. The BOCs have way better execution animations, which suck because I don't want to use them. But here we are. And so I was very upset and disappointed. And the story wasn't really initially grabbing like the first one is. Because, I mean, the first one is just fantastic. It's probably one of my favorite openings in video games, where it's just you're chopping down a tree, and then you burn the dead body of your wife, and it's like, okay, this is instantly, I get it.
It's just a
Everybody's,
normal Sunday.
yeah. I get the situation. Everybody's sad, they're depressed, they're mourning. The relationship between Kratos and Atreus is already on the rocks before then. And I think there's something like in the funeral thing where Atreus like says to the pyre that his mom is burning on. He's like, why did you leave me with him? So it's like, exactly what this dynamic is. There is a strained relationship, a father-son relationship, which is not relatable at all. But so there's just kind of instantly a thing where it's like, okay, we have it's very easy to establish. It's a very relatable opening. Because I feel like everybody's been through some sort of grief, some sort of trauma like that, and how it can bring people together. And that kind of quest to scatter the mom's ashes on the highest point of the realms, in all the realms.
The tallest tower.
The tallest tower. It's well, I don't want to say that's relatable because I've never been to the highest point in all of the 9 realms.
What?
I know, surprising.
Man, you haven't lived till you know.
I am not. But I feel like that's just okay. I get it. I'm in. There's very little. I don't know. I don't need an additional push. Like there are just moments consistently throughout the game that make it very enticing. I think God of War has one of the best stories, especially of the last decade for sure. And this one starts off a little rocky, because a lot of the dynamic between Atreus and Kratos has changed. I mean, throughout the first game, we see their relationship change and improve. They learn to live with each other and depend and trust each other, and that is something that they don't take that back. It isn't like playing like a Metroid game or something where like you finish this Metroid game as like the super OP Metroid guy, and then in the next game you just like lose everything inexplicably, even though it's like a direct sequel. It's like, no, everything stays. All the dynamics and everything is the same as the end of the first game, but that makes it kind of not interesting because everybody's friends. Kratos is open. He's more open with himself and his emotions. And Atreus is more or less like more trusting of Kratos. And it's like, okay, great. But there's no real push here. I don't really get why there's conflict. And that is an issue that I have as I've been playing, even though I am thoroughly enjoying it. I'm probably about halfway, if I were to guess. I think that the conflict between Atreus and Kratos is it seems a little bit fake, and just kind of artificial. Like, there are moments in the first game where Atreus and Kratos have very defined conflicts, and it is very understandable. There are like huge things that Kratos kept from Atreus, and when it's finally revealed that those things come out, then that leads to a huge fallout, and that is completely understandable. In this game, conflict just kind of comes up, and Atreus just kind of gets mad, and Kratos is like a good dad now, so it isn't really like deserved, and it kind of makes Atreus a bad protagonist. Because, spoiler alert, you do play as Atreus for, huge parts of the game.
They are copying Last of Us.
They are. Except, it's a lot of, like, Atreus's, this is tricky. Because I don't want to spoil it for you, but also I don't want to spoil the new game for people who have played the first one. So it's hard. I feel like I'm trapped But there are moments where like Kratos is like, I want you take the lead, Atreus. You are given the choice to do this. Do whatever you want. I am here because I want to spend time with you, because Ragnarok means the end of the world. Everybody is going to die. We've seen it coming, and I just want to spend time with you before everything is over. I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And Atreus responds positively to that, and he says, thank you. Like, I'm glad that you're like being upfront and open with me. And then in the next scene, Atreus is mad and is like, dude, you never let me choose anything about my destiny. And it's like, bruh, Kratos literally was just like, he took you on this giant journey and he didn't bitch at all, because Kratos doesn't talk very much. Boy. I've played through half of the game and he's only said boy once. Just want that put on the record. He is officially grown up. He's no longer boy. He is Atreus.
Then it's just teenage angst.
It is teenage angst. But the thing is that it's obvious why that happens, though, because they want to have sections where you play as Kratos and they want to have sections where you play as Atreus, and so they have to split them up somehow. But the moments where you play as Kratos and Atreus is your sidekick, those moments are great. They have a great rapport. Mimir is back. Everybody loves Mimir. I don't know. You probably haven't gotten to Mimir, but he's like my favorite character. I love him so much. And he's just there throughout the whole thing. So I love that. And so like those three are great. They have a great dynamic, and I really, really love that. And then it's like, okay, we have to have conflict so that Atreus runs off on his own, even though that doesn't really make any sense. And then there are moments in the Atreus sections where he's like, yeah, Kratos, like, he had some good points, but like, why? Oh, I'm just so frustrated. And it's just like, just talk. You've been doing that. Like, that was the whole arc of the first game, is that like you guys need to communicate with each other, and you finally got to that point. We've seen that. We've seen your dynamic past that, because this is like a couple years after the first game. We've seen how you've grown up and changed, and yeah, we've seen you talk and be open, and it's just frustrating to see this character go against that, even when like huge revelations come out. That's like, why are you being an asshole to Kratos? That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's something that's like, why? Why are you doing this, you coward? That being said, I do want to get into the gameplay a little bit of Atreus, because he is obviously very different from Kratos. A lot of it is ranged, because he is the bow and arrow guy. I think he plays great. I love the moments where you play as Atreus. I don't know, he just doesn't feel as good as Kratos, though, because Kratos has a lot of variety. He can do a lot of things. Atreus is kind of a one trick, where he uses his bow and arrow, but then he also beats people with his bow and arrow. Maybe I haven't unlocked enough skills in the skill tree or whatever, but I don't know. That's just where I'm at with it. I'm really enjoying it. I know I kind of bashed the story a little bit, but the moment-to-moment gameplay and the side quests have honestly been like highlights. I think they've really like built on the framework of like having characters interact with each other in a way that's satisfying, and that's obviously a highlight with all of the Naughty Dog games too, where you're just going along and it's just like, just keep talking. Like, I could just like listen to you guys talk forever, because the writing is so good and I love these characters so much. I feel the same way about God of War, like Kratos and Freya, Mimir, Brock, Sindri, Atreus. Some of the new characters have been pretty good too. Like, I love Tyr. I don't want to say I love Odin. I'm like right in a place where like something's going on with Odin. He's the big bad, but there's something going on. I like him right now. That might change next week. I don't know. But I think his character is really interesting because he's been built up to be like this horrible man, but he, like, when Atreus talks to him, he's just kind of an old dude, and he seems more or less pretty jovial. I don't know. Something's going on, but I like him. I'm trying to think of other characters. Oh, there was the black chick that everybody was freaking out about on the trailer because they're like, Norse mythology didn't have black people in it. What are you, crazy? I thought she was pretty good. I don't have any complaints about her character. She was more or less the Obi-Wan Kenobi to Atreus's Luke Skywalker, where she's just like, hey, this is your destiny. Okay, bye-bye. That's kind of her whole thing. But that whole section takes like 3 hours, so I don't know. It's fine. But that's my God of War initial gameplay reaction review. I don't think I'll beat it by next week, but I don't know, maybe. I'll give updated thoughts when I beat it, and then more updated thoughts when I 100% it, because I'm probably going to do that, just knowing me. Let's move on to movie news, because we have some movie news. We got word about we got the first release date for the new Avatar movie. Not that Avatar. Stupid. The gang. Avatar Studios.
The blue people.
Not the blue people. I was going to say the Chinese people, but that's only Earth Kingdom people.
It's xenophobic over here. It's crazy.
Well, I was about to say white people, and I'm like, that's not right. And then I was going to say Asian people, and I'm like, that's technically, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. The
he
bending
said a thing
people,
he shouldn't have said, and then yeah.
It's fine. The new Avatar movie, the first one, it's going to be the gang as young adults. It's by that studio that I was hit or miss on. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, I think. It's coming out October 10th, 2025. So we got to wait a while, about 3 years. So I guess that's how long it takes to make an animated movie. So I don't really know why I'm surprised. I'm just surprised they gave a release date. But good for them, I guess. That's the first thing. I don't know. There you go. That's pretty much it for movie news. I did have something else in movie news, and then it kind of turned into nothing. It came out earlier this week that Lucasfilm and Studio Ghibli were working on a project together, and I got excited. So I'm like, oh boy, I love Studio Ghibli, and I am probably the biggest and most toxic Star Wars fan on the planet. This can only be good things. And then, after that was announced, there was a picture of Miyazaki holding a Grogu figure. I'm like, oh snap, Miyazaki's involved in this? Like, Miyazaki's the guy when it comes to Studio Ghibli movies. He's the best. You gotta love Miyazaki. And so I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be good. I can't wait. And then it was announced what it was. It was called Zen, Grogu and the Dust Bunnies. It's a 3-minute short that is already on Disney Plus. It's Grogu from Mandalorian and the Dust Bunnies from Totoro.
Let's go. It's
fine, I guess. It's 3 minutes long. I don't know what you want me to say about it because there's like no, I don't know. It's just like a little hand-drawn thing. I don't even think Miyazaki's involved. I think it's just like a couple people at Ghibli wanted to do this thing, which I'm surprised isn't linked to Star Wars Visions, which is the anime Star Wars thing that they're doing. But I don't know. That's what it is. So I kind of was excited, and then I watched it and I'm like, oh, that was nothing. So I guess you should use it as meditation background. And then just look at Grogu and the dust bunnies dance around a little bit, which I know everybody's itching to do. So that's it for movie news. Movies I watched Fight Club. I don't really want to talk about Fight Club because what am I going to add?
Don't talk about Fight Club.
Oh, that's a funny joke.
Because that's the first rule of Fight Club.
Do you know what the second rule is?
No cheating.
No. It's don't talk about Fight Club.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
clever.
Yeah, you see? I don't remember any of the other rules. I just remember that the first two are the same. Good movie. People should not like Tyler Durden. I coined this phrase. I debuted it last night to Babby and company. But I've decided, and I don't know if anyone else has coined this term, but I'm coining it right now, that the people who are super into like Breaking Bad and Fight Club and American Psycho, and they're like, these guys are so cool. I want to, not me. I like those things, but I have to make a very clear distinction that I do not like the protagonists in any of these. I was going to say all these are movies, but Breaking Bad's TV. I do still like Saul Goodman, though. I think he's... What? I think he's a fun guy.
He's a morally bankrupt individual.
Well, yeah, but it's fun to see him work. Walter, it was just sad. It just got sad at the end. But I'm calling these boys literally me boys. It's a play on...
You just like me for real.
Yes, it's a play on that. And also it kind of sounds like I'm saying literally me e-boys, which e-boys is already a thing.
True.
So I'm calling it
Poppin'
literally
topic.
me boys. Put that in Urban Dictionary. I guess I can do that.
You could do that.
Someone else needs to do it so that it isn't
Yeah, you can't
sad.
coin your own phrase like that.
Well, we did. We've
but
done it.
Yeah.
And I still
officially
use
done.
Tiger Smash Town every single day.
True.
It's a great
That's
phrase.
been a word for like 6 years.
Yeah, it's on Urban Dictionary. We have coined something on Urban Dictionary. If you want to find Tiger Smash Town, we have made an entry, and I guess it was found culturally relevant enough to be on there. I don't know how they screen these, but there we go. So yeah, if you like Tyler Durden, you don't get the source material. That's the main thing with literally me boys. They have to like a thing, but like it for the wrong reasons and don't get it. That's the thing. I had to make that distinction because I was on a date with this chick and I brought up Breaking Bad and I said, I'm not one of those. And she said, I don't know what you're talking about. And so I said, never mind.
Yeah, you have to learn how to talk in real life terms because being on the internet terminally will break your brain to the fact where you feel like you need to clarify every point you make, especially us being content creators.
Yes.
Because if you don't, people will take it the wrong way.
Well, yeah. Well, I wasn't going to bring it up. It wasn't something I planned on bringing up. But she was talking about Albuquerque. So I was making references because she was like, I want to go to Albuquerque. I'm like, what? You want to throw some pizza on roofs or something? And she said, I don't know what you're talking about. So she's never even seen it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she didn't know the subcultures that I was referencing at all. So, sorry. Not worth it. So yeah, Fight Club, good movie. Meatloaf's great in it. That's the only good performance in my book. Edward Norton, snooze. Brad Pitt, yawn. Meatloaf, that's real. It's real shit. I love Meatloaf. They gave him a fat suit, which I feel like is kind of insulting. But
yeah,
that's the way it goes. It's a weird one. It like does like 3 180s, where it's one movie in like act point 5, and then act 1 starts and it's a completely different movie, and then act 2 starts, it's a really different movie, and then act 3 is domestic terrorism.
Let's go.
It kind of goes all over the place. I don't know how it goes from underground boxing to domestic terrorism, but I guess that's what you're gonna have to watch the movie to find out. It says a lot about society and consumerism and
Let's go.
capitalism.
Let's
And
go.
it's Mr. Robot. This is the second movie I've seen where it's like, this is Mr. Robot. Like, literally, it's Mr. Robot. The big thing, the domestic terrorism, they want to wipe out all the credit card companies so the debt goes down to 0, which is literally
go.
Mr. Robot. So, yeah. Watch Fight Club and Mr. Robot. No, watch Fight Club, American Psycho, and Mr. Robot, like back to back, and you'll be the most insufferable person ever, but you'll get what I'm talking about. So there you go. I also saw Mississippi Burning this week, but I'm not going to talk about that because that is a depressing KKK movie.
Awesome.
Yes. But it does have a baby Willem Dafoe in it, and that's kind of fun. And he doesn't play a bad guy. Well, actually, I'm going to amend that statement. Willem Dafoe plays an FBI agent. But,
Oh, he's definitely a bad guy.
yeah, I know. This movie came out in the 80s, and it is just blatant FBI propaganda.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It is like this real attack on civil rights students in, I forget what town it is. It's Jessup County, Mississippi, where 3 civil rights workers were killed by the Klan. 2 Jewish boys and 1 black boy, and they were all murdered. And so then Willem Dafoe comes in with the FBI, and the FBI launches a
Makes
full-scale
everything worse.
investigation on...
What?
I know. I was watching this, and I'm like, the FBI, this is J. Edgar Hoover time. You think J. Edgar Hoover's signing off on the 100 men that is deployed here to figure out what happened to these civil rights workers? I think J. Edgar Hoover would be in the Klan.
Yes.
I don't know if he was in the Klan, but probably. His dad probably was. I'll bet you $1 million his dad was in the KKK. Let me Google that to see. This is not important. We can move on to Atlanta while I'm looking that up. What did you think of Atlanta season 4?
I really like Atlanta.
Yes, it's very good.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like season 3 is slightly better than season 4 for me.
Okay.
I feel like he did a lot of kooky, weird experiments that were really fun.
He did.
But season 4 was nice to be back in the actual city, I will say. There were a lot of good episodes, especially the premiere with the whole Target thing. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I should probably pull up
yeah.
the episode list so I can
I
remember.
feel like I need to rewatch Atlanta because there's so many good episodes. And
Yes.
the narrative is driven through like this really strange, fragmented way. So it's like kind of linear, but kind of not. So I focus more on like what certain episodes are instead of like the driving story to it, which is kind of cool.
The story is told through the seasons because the seasons take place in chronological
Yeah.
order, but the episodes are not necessarily in the right timeline. Yeah, I really liked season 4 also. I think I've been seeing online that I think people have been more fan of season 4 over season 3. I think a lot of the experimental stuff, the general Atlanta fan base was not, or like the casual viewer was not into.
Yeah, season 3 he went really weird with it.
Yeah, which I like. There was a lot of
I thought it
weirdo
was really
stuff.
fantastic. I like understood the surrealism for like 90% of it.
Yes. And I think some of that is that like there was an insanely fast turnaround. So like the things he was referencing were still topical somewhat,
Yeah, he
or
does
at
a
least
very
I
good job of
remembered. So that was kind of nice. Yeah, this last season felt like season 2 2. Season 3 is kind of its own thing. Because it doesn't even take place in Atlanta. And most of the episodes don't even have Donald Glover in it. So, I mean, I guess there's a couple episodes in this season where Donald Glover's not in it. But do you have favorite episodes?
First episode, season 4 is really good. I feel like I forgot like half of season 4 because we watched it in like a very drawn out.
Well, we were watching it as it was coming out.
Yeah, but like we would do like we'd skip a week and do like 2 episodes at once.
Yeah.
Let me look up the episode list real quick. I did think the last 2 were very strong.
Yes.
Especially the Darius deprivation tank was really trippy.
The
I like
finale. Yes,
Yeah.
very, very good.
that. Season 4 episodes.
I'll give mine first.
Okay.
I think my number one is probably Snipe Hunt.
That one was really good.
That one was just a great, like, that's the kind of cheesy shit that I really love, where it's just like a family drama. Give me one of those any day. Plus, it was shot in 4:3 to preserve the artist's vision.
Of course.
Gotta love that too. I love that one. I think a close second is the finale because I loved that. I loved the nod to Inception at the end. It is, I think I'm 99% sure it's a reference to Inception because Inception, there's like the top, and if it falls over, then that means you're in real life, and if it keeps spinning, then that means you're still in the dream. And Darius kind of has a play on that where he knows he's in the sleep deprivation tank if he looks on TV and sees thick Judge Judy. And so the end of the show, I guess spoilers, but whatever. The end of the show, we just see Darius's face as he's looking at the TV. So we don't know whether he's in the tank or if he's in real life and this whole thing has been a dream. I mean, probably not a dream, but who knows? Which is the same ending. Inception. The end shot of Inception is just a top spinning, and then you never see it fall over. So it's like, is it a dream or is it real life? I don't know. I thought that was very good.
It's a trope that's overplayed, but I feel like it works in this like sequence.
Yes.
I feel like Atlanta couldn't have like a like wrap a bow on it kind of ending because that's not the kind of show that this is anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I forgot about the TV episode. The TV episode is really fun.
Which one's that?
Where Lottie's like in all those different TV shows.
Yeah.
That one was really fun. The goof who sat by the door was like really, really cool.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was like a little bit to the point where it was like, because it's a whole documentary on like the Goofy movie, but obviously in a way that is not true to like the people who know. So it was funny for us, who like, okay, yeah, this didn't happen, but it was so convincing that like there were moments where I had to like look it up and be like, okay, wait, like, is that true? Because there was like, there's flicks of like real things in there. Where, like, Art
they
Babbitt
just took
interview.
the entire thing of the like Goofy being a racial stereotype and then made the whole kind of episode based around it. So
Yeah.
it's like based in a truth, but like parts of it are obviously not.
Yes,
true.
like the main plot of it is not true.
Yeah.
But there's like the B-roll footage that they use for that is so convincing. Where like I feel like, maybe a casual person would have to like look up and see if that guy's even real.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, I don't know. I thought that one was very good too.
What else? Oh, the Crank That Killer to Soldier Boy episode was pretty good as well. Yeah, this was a pretty good season. I still think season 3 is my favorite season of Atlanta, though. I don't know, something about that season just hit different.
Yes, I think I think they're about the same, but they're so like different that it's hard to compare the two.
I like more of the trippy stuff. I feel like season 4 was more grounded, and it's
Yes.
at least the way he like composed everything. I feel like the commentary and like the basis of why each episodes exists are like consistently fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. No, I thought they were both great. He still has things to say, which is good. I did see he did an interview. I don't know what it was for, but it was about whether or not Atlanta would ever be coming back. He gave the quote, "If there's a reason to do it, of course. Like a Christmas special. It always depends. I like keeping my options open." So I don't know if this is the end. I would love to see an Atlanta Christmas special.
I want to see a movie.
Oh, that would be good too. I don't know. I don't know how you do that. If you go like full on surrealist for 2.5 hours, or if you go just
cool.
like.
Be just a David Lynch movie when it's Atlanta.
I mean, I think he would be the guy to do
he
that.
would
Him
be.
and Jordan Peele.
Yeah, Jordan Peele. If they teamed up, that could be something. That'd be cool.
Well, his next show is something completely different. Apparently, well, that's the one that has Malia Obama as a writer.
Oh,
That's the only thing we know about it, I think. And he was like, "It's not nepotism. I don't care that her dad's Obama. I just think she's a good writer." I'm like, yeah, whatever you have to tell yourself, Donald Glover. She hasn't written anything, and now she gets on like
Yeah.
your project. Okay.
yeah. But I think Atlanta as a whole is one of the best TV shows of the past decade. I'd give it like a solid 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's very, very good. For what, wasn't always consistently released, but every time it did come out, it was like, oh boy, this is an event. And I don't think it ever disappointed me.
Nope.
Very good. First season's I think the first season's just like a little rocky. He hadn't really found his footing.
Because it's hard to figure out his like writing style too.
Yeah.
Because it is so like scrapbooky in a way that not every episode is linear to the last. Mm-hmm. You kind of just get thrown into a new scene every episode.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. But I feel like once season 2 starts, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
He's got it.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Which is good. I think that was Atlanta the first thing he wrote? Because that was kind of his big jump.
Didn't he do writing on like 30 Rock or something?
I don't know about that. I don't think it would be 30 Rock. That's Tina Fey's thing.
Or maybe she found him. I don't know. I thought there was something involved.
Well, he was on
there.
Community.
Yeah.
Let me see. Writer. Well, he did write for 30 Rock. You're right.
I'm just knowledgeable.
I don't know how you knew that.
I just know things.
He also wrote for College Humor. This is weird. Whoa. He wrote a short movie called Bro Rape, a Newsline investigative report.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. I love that. He also has a video short named Jerry. I should probably watch that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great discussion of Atlanta. I think that's all I have. Yeah, we can move on. Oh, wait.
God.
Before we move on, I want to dedicate this podcast. I should have opened with this. But I'm going to dedicate this podcast to Kevin Conroy.
Let's go.
Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman in pretty much every animated thing. From the animated series to the Arkham games to, I don't know, Lego games. I don't know. Everything. Everything that was animated in Batman, pretty much, it was Kevin Conroy. I think he's probably my favorite Batman. I really, really dig his voice. I think he did a great job. He had a very short bout of cancer, and he just died at 66. So I wanted to bring that up because it is very sad because he still had it. He was still recording Batman projects while doing that, going through cancer stuff. So There you go, Kevin Conroy. Also, Gallagher died, which I think is kind of sad.
What?
I know. I don't even know if you know who Gallagher is.
That sounds familiar.
He was a comedian in the 80s that smashed watermelons with big mallets.
Oh, I do know that.
Yeah. So we're going to dedicate the podcast episode to Gallagher, too.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah.
Equal level of cultural
Absolutely.
stay.
I would
Kevin
say.
Conroy and Gallagher.
Yes.
So that's it. Now we can move
Okay.
on to music. You better talk about SZA.
I wasn't planning on it.
SZA's going to be on SNL on
Yes.
December 3rd with
That is
Kiki
so true.
Palmer.
Yeah.
That's
That's a good
it.
set. That's a good set.
It's a good set, yeah.
Yeah.
I like both of those.
Yeah. SNL's been kind of on it.
Yeah. Well, didn't they just have Black Star on too?
They just had Dave Chappelle and Black Star.
I haven't
So
seen the
that-
monologue, but I've heard that the monologue is controversial.
It was pretty decent.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything too cringe.
I saw people say that it was like he was validating anti-Semitism, which I don't think that's...
No, not really. He was being a comedian. I think people are being overcorrective right now.
Yeah.
It's the same as any other Dave Chappelle bit. So,
Okay.
like, I mean, and I feel like you would watch it and know what he's doing. But I
Okay.
think a
I
lot of
should
people
probably
are
watch
kind
it,
of
yeah.
like, he's like under the microscope, you
He
know? So
is.
people are going to over criticize.
He didn't make trans jokes?
No,
Okay, good.
no, that was the one. He kind of like alluded to it once. I'm like, you had to fit
Stop
one in
it.
there. He didn't like make a joke though.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, but it was pretty decent. This week, where do I want to start?
I don't know.
We'll start with Akai Solo, newest Backwoods Studios label signee. Released his album Spirit Roaming. Pretty decent. I need to give this thing another listen because I listened to it in the car and my vocals kind of get drowned out on my car speakers, which is kind of unfortunate. But beats are sounding good so far. My only real gripe with it so far is that like he is kind of like an Earl Sweatshirt in many ways. But I feel like his vocal delivery is always the same and it gets a little straining when it is just him. I feel like he's a perfect solo art or like a feature artist, but when he's like by himself for like probably 35 minutes of this thing, the voice gets a little straining after a while because it is kind of like a more preachy kind of inflection and it's kind of raspy. So it's not the most satisfying to hear constantly.
I could see that, man.
But it is very easy listening. Besides that, beats are good. He's got some really great lyrics as well. I just need to like sit down and actually get in there. But I will do that probably this week. Nas released another album, King's Disease 3. He is kind of on a roll.
Yeah.
It's kind of rare for someone this. I think he's been doing this for 30 years now. He's kind of on an uptick here. With,
Yeah.
His last like 3 albums have been really great. Actually, last 4 because Magic is a thing as well. Yeah, but the whole King's Disease series and Magic, all very good. He is on a very, very, very hot streak right now, and it's kind of impressive that he still has like different topics to talk about. Because usually you see like Drake's only a decade and he's out of things to talk about. Eminem just gave up and just says words now.
Yeah.
But Nas is constantly bringing like interesting topics and like thoroughly dissecting them with like really great finesse constantly. The only issue I have personally is that I listen to these things once or twice and then I'm done. I don't need to hear them anymore because it is such a... It's Nas. I mean, I feel like I'm not getting anything that I want to replay a lot. I feel like I get the gist of these things pretty quickly. But I feel like older hip hop heads are like really into his new wave stuff here,
Well, of course.
which makes sense because, you know, it is almost as good as he was like back in his first prime. He's kind of hitting like a second peak here. Because his albums have always been kind of like, he had like this rocky period in the middle. But yeah, I think someone said his career is like a parabola, and that's pretty much what's happening here. um, so very good. I don't know how much I'll check it out more, but the Hit Boy beats on this thing are really, really, really fantastic. So I might actually check this out more than I have the other two King's Diseases because the beats really caught my ear here. There's a lot of great like pianos and beat switches and everything. But yeah, I I can't really dive into each track with like what they're talking about on each track because I don't remember all of them, but I remember a lot of really, really interesting storytelling things that he does. So good on Nas. Keep it going. You're still actually killing it. It's kind of crazy. What else we got? Backwash released her new album, I think yesterday. I do need to listen to that. So I will report on that next week. I'm very excited for that. I just want to listen to that when I am home with the good headphones and not at work through earbuds.
Of course.
Because I feel like loud rap metal will not translate well to low volume earbuds. So I'm just going to wait until I have the full attention. But I'm very excited for that. Let's see. We'll talk about Quadeca. This is one of the more interesting developments this year. Quadeca is a YouTube rapper, or used to be a YouTube rapper. If anybody doesn't know what that means, it's usually not a good connotation. People like Tom McDonald and like Dax and all of those, like Hobson, all like these really bad rappers are considered YouTube rappers because they have their main following off of YouTube. This is what Quadeca used to do. I never really like checked out his stuff or anything because it was like white boy YouTube rap. But he has made a gigantic shift. He's been doing this the past couple years. He's been kind of like shifting into like he kind of had the same kind of thing as Joji, where he's kind of had this mature development into like seriously doing music instead of just doing these little YouTube rap things. But new album here, I didn't mean to haunt you, is not even like a rap album. It is a let's see, what is it classified as? Folktronica, art pop, and experimental hip hop. So
Folktronica?
completely yes.
Okay.
Folktronica would be kind of like the Cornelius album if it was more folk.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay.
But yeah, this is like barely hip hop. There's like a couple verses in here. But this is a complete shift. This is incredibly atmospheric. The instrumentals are kind of crazy that he's doing all this production himself. And this is, I feel like he watched Anthony Fantano's like best like rated album reviews, and then he's like, let me take all those and stick them into one album, and then all the music nerds will go crazy for it. Which people did go crazy for it. It was, I think, on album of the year right now. It's like the third top rated user requests or users best for the year. Which is really high. Like immediately I'm like, okay, is this like a YouTube following coming over thing? Like, why is this getting hyped up? And then people on Twitter were talking about it. So I'm like, okay, let me check it out. It's pretty good. I will preface this is going to be the same exact thing as your God of War conversation.
Okay.
It's pretty good. I think it's really great. It's a fantastic evolution. And I think it's incredibly impressive that, you know, he produced all this himself, and it's like completely his own body of work that sounds pretty, it's unique in its field, which is really fantastic. But I feel like the first half of the record, I didn't really get into it all. The second half's pretty great. That's where I'm like, okay, I can definitely see the vision on this now. This thing features Danny Brown, the Sunday Service Choir, somehow. I don't know
okay.
how he got this Sunday Service Choir. And Thor Harris, the drummer from Swans.
Oh. Okay.
Specifically the drummer that is known for hitting the gong extremely hard and playing like the electric clarinet, I think, on some of the Swan songs. So I'm like, this is an interesting feature list. The album basically sounds like if you took like Radiohead, Moonshaped Pool mixed with like Mid-Air Thief, which is a good combo when done right. I feel like it's done right most of the time. I feel like this album is like It's like one of those, like, it looks really pretty and everything looks really cool when you're looking at it from a distance, but like as you magnify everything, you start to see little cracks and holes and like imperfections in it. That's how I basically view this album. Um, it's like this is great. This is a fantastic artistic evolution for someone so young to be doing something this like off the wall and kind of it is boundary pushing in a way. Experimental hip hop is getting kind of like this boost of like other genres starting to come in.
Mm-hmm.
I think Injury Reserves, by the time I get to Phoenix, is like the big example here, and I feel like this album took a little bit of inspiration from that. Igor as well is another one. So there's kind of alternative hip hop that's bringing in different genres. Um, I feel like the production is pretty good, but there are definitely moments where it is very skeletal, and I feel like the composition of a lot of these and arrangement of things like could be better after hearing all like because I've been in this kind of genre for the past year
Mm-hmm.
of this more atmospheric folktronica, art pop, post rock, things that all require like a good sense of composition by the artist. I feel like this is getting there, but it's not quite there. That's not even too much of a dig at him because this is like he's like 22 doing this, and he's a hip hop artist, and he just pulled this out of nowhere. So it is still very good, but there are moments where I'm like, okay, there should have been something else here because you kind of get brought into a lull and not one where you're like lulled by the music. You kind of forget that you're listening because there's nothing happening. Um, there's like extended outros that do this where there's like not too much happening and it kind of kills the flow. Um, but track 5 through 11, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Born Yesterday is really great. Um, there's really fantastic hits of noise and everything that he does know how to like bring crescendos in and out, which is really fantastic. He knows when to shift the energy. Um, House Settling with Danny Brown is really good. Kind of more of a hard, traditional, like experimental hip hop track, if such a thing exists. Danny Brown's vocal mixing is very harsh, and the production that builds around it is even harsher. I feel like across the record, you could tone down the harshness of the way he mixed the vocals. I don't mind lo-fi vocals, but when the instrumentals have so much going on and like are more serene and gentle, it's kind of striking to have a lot of like grittiness in a vocal track.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it creates a weird imbalance that kind of fits the record, but I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Knots though, Knots is crazy. Knots is just like a Nine Inch Nails song or like a Death Grip song. Absolutely fantastic. The guitar that comes in and just like the absolutely crazy like really distorted bass and everything in this track is absolutely fantastic. I love it. Um, Fantasy World after that is really serene, fantastic. The vocal performance here is pretty good. And the back half has like this really nice falsetto and outro part that is just gorgeous. Fractions of Infinity with the Sunday Service Choir, kind of the same thing. Very much like a slow burner track, but the Sunday Service Choir kills it. And then the last track is Cassini's Division with Thor Harris. Really fantastic, like instrumental outro. Um, really, really, really captures the whole sound of the record and kind of like wraps it up. Um, and it almost hits like a lo-fi kind of groove through it. It's not really like a traditional track where he has verses or anything. There's like vocal snippets, and then it kind of falls into its own little lo-fi-ish kind of outro. So this is a very good album. I don't. I think people are overhyping it because like it is such a surprising turn
Mm-hmm.
for it to come out this well. I think people jump to it and are like, "Yep, this is a masterpiece straight out of the gate." I will disagree with that. Um, I still think it is very good though. I am very excited to see like what else he's gonna do with his career because for someone to just kind of like pop out like this, it's kind of like a Logic situation, but like in a good way. Like he's wearing his influences right on his sleeve, but for him, it is working um, for the most part. There's things he needs to clean up, obviously, but like I'm not gonna hold that against him because this thing's really great. So very good album. I did not expect to like have this out of nowhere because I have not been following this or anything. It just kind of popped up and everybody kind of started freaking out about it on Friday. I'm like, yep, all right. These are usually where the good stuff comes from.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty good album. Um, that's it for new stuff this week that I've listened to. I did listen to one other thing. Yeah, I listened to the Set Fire to Flames album. Sings Sings Rain Rebuilder. This is a post-rock group that is consistent of a whole bunch of different people from different post-rock groups, from Godspeed, a whole bunch of other like random Canadian post-rock people. They all got together in this. I don't know the exact story of this house, but it is a broken down house, very, very, very old. They set up there and recorded an album in it, and they recorded everything, so you can hear the floorboards creaking and every little shift you can hear. Really eerie, really depressing, but really interesting. I really, really love it. It's very much of a different post rock experience. It leans more on kind of ambience and field recording at times. There was one song where there was a police car going by, and they cited the police car as a feature, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
It actually added to the track very well too. I guess that kind of shows like they have this bass like arrangement for these songs, and there's such like an ambient mood to it. They're like you can have these little things like you can hear the wind in the windows of the house, or you can hear the floorboards creaking as someone shifts. You can hear a cop car going by on the street, and all of it sounds like it's supposed to be arranged and placed there perfectly. So it's a really interesting album, and one that I had to like dig to kind of find because Godspeed has a whole bunch of like little tiny side projects that they've been doing. So every once in a while, I'll be like, okay, let me go check one of those out because they are such interesting concepts every time, and it truly is just art for the sake of it. They have another record too in 2003 that I might check out. It seems like that one has some popular songs on it. But yeah, very interesting record. I like kind of that stuff where like there's this and like ambient records that have like a cool little concept, like the Dementia album and everything else, like the Disintegration loops and stuff like that. I like little nerdy stuff like that in my ambient music because it gives me a little bit of perspective when I get to it, and it's not just sounds. But yeah, thought that was pretty good. We got Wise Blood this week.
What?
Yeah, this Friday comes out. People are giving this thing insanely high reviews for the people that have gotten copies early. So I'm expecting greatness here, which is to be expected anyways. Brockhampton's last album is also coming out on Thursday.
What?
Weird release time. Apparently Kevin's like the only one that's been on both the singles, I think. So people are a little weary about what is happening. But
It's just going to be a solo project, but
I really hope it's just Kevin, and then just like one song has all the members on it, and then it's done. That'd be funny.
yeah.
We might. I don't know how we're feeling about this. If we want to do a video on it or not.
We can. We'd
I
have to
feel
get
like-
Bab Jab.
Yeah, I don't want to make Babjab wait though, because it's gonna be a while. We're kind of busy, so I want to do Wise Blood first.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but we'll figure that out. So yeah, those two are coming this week. The new Swans album has a unofficial official title. Apparently, someone has cited that Michael Gira said the name of the new record is called The Beggar at a live show. Don't know how credible that is, but that's what it's showing up as now. It does sound like a very Swans title, so it does sound real. There's also a new Paranoia album coming out in January 2023. This is a South Korean shoegaze outfit that I talked about a while back. Kind of excited for that. SZA's teasing something. I hope this record comes out soon.
It won't.
So I hope. Yeah, you're just going all in on it, so I'm just gonna believe you.
I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I'm following her on Twitter, and that's about the extent of me going all in on it.
Yeah.
I love Shirt. I love the deluxe. That's what I got.
Nice.
Yep.
I think that's all I have. Do a double check here.
Look.
Yep, that is everything.
Have I looked at anything fun this week?
I don't know, Javi.
I thought I did. I might not have. I started listening to Z by SZA. I didn't really like it. That's her other record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like nobody talks about her earlier work.
She
It's
just kind of like
mostly-
mumbling through it. It's kind of like listening to like a modern Kanye thing before it's done.
Oh,
It's kind of what it reminds
reference
me of.
tracks.
Yeah. But it has like some big people on it. Like it has like Kendrick, Isaiah Rashad, and Chance the Rapper on it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, 2 of those are TDEs, but whatever. Oh, I did listen to something. I forgot I listened to this. I listened to the whole Emotion Heap Speak for Yourself record. The album with Hide and Seek on it.
Yes.
Ooh boy. I really like it. I don't know if it's art pop. It kind of reminds me of like if like Porter Robinson and like Wise Blood or Kate Bush had a baby or something. Because there's definitely that arty side to it, but there is a lot of electronics to it too.
I mean, you could call it Indie-tronica.
You could call it
wanted to.
Indie-tronica. Yeah, I suppose. This came out in 2005, so it was before that label probably existed. Probably.
Maybe.
I don't know. But it's a very good record. I've added it to my wheel, which won't get picked for months. But
Yes.
very good. I thought that like I mean the first 5 tracks are like really 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 great. It's like mad Titanic Rising thing where like the first 4 tracks are like these are great standalone tracks. You don't have to listen to the record. And then Hide and Seek happens and then it's just a complete shift after that. Not in a bad way, but it's
Seems
just
to
like
be the art pop way.
that seems
for
to be
some
the art
reason.
pop way.
I don't know if Hounds of Love was just that much of an impact that like every art pop record had to be like, all right, we need 2 different apps.
Well, she is British, so maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, very good. Well, we might get to it eventually, but I like it.
Okay.
That it?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, great podcast. I've always said the best podcasts are one where Paul's not here.
Real.
I don't know if Paul's going to be here next week. Hopefully. We've had a little bit of a surprise, a medical surprise. That's all I'm going to disclose. But Paul is not here. So who knows? Next week, I don't know what I'm looking forward to next week. Next week that's Thanksgiving, isn't it? Next week is Thanksgiving
Next week is Thanksgiving.
Okay. Well, the week after, I'll be able to talk about Knives Out 2. And the week after that, I think I'll be able to talk about Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
Very excited about those 2 movies. Also, I think The Whale gets a full release this weekend. Might go see that. I'm probably going to go see The Fabelmans. Excited to see David Lynch in something again. It's literally the only reason. I could care less if it's a Steven Spielberg biopic. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about the movie. I just want to see David Lynch yell at people. What the hell? If he says it's Friday once
for it.
again, I'm going to freak out.
Yeah.
I put on the call sheet. Everybody needs to be here. It's Friday once again. I would get up. I would do full Nicole Kidman, and I would say, "Pain
Yeah.
feels good in a place like this."
Yeah. And then clap.
Then clap. Yeah. I would hope that everyone would give a standing ovation to David Lynch, even though Steven Spielberg audience is not gonna know David Lynch. Are you kidding me? The same guys who are like super into E.T. are not gonna be into Blue Velvet. That's all I'm gonna say.
It could be.
Could be.
Hypothetically.
Of course. Well, I was trying to say a farewell, but tally ho is not a farewell. Unless it's like aloha, where it's hello and goodbye. I'm
I
gonna
think
say
it could be that.
okay. I'm going to assume it is. Tally ho!